How many? Just curious. This, I don't know. Maybe think of this, but like, how many have you guys ever had deals that you lost? Like, I mean, that just literally fell apart at like the very end, like when you're doing almost
we
doing a
all did.
walkthrough.
Oh yeah. Oh, the walkthrough, yeah. Maybe not.
Where they've just, I mean, where it's actually like I've seen obviously, like do a walkthrough and then there's like, all right, maybe somebody asked for a credit, but ultimately at that point everybody seems to come to the table. But if you had deals die that far into the deal,
again a while ago, but I had the buyer, and my buyer was a little, he was a little high strung, but he went the night before and did a slow drive-by of the house that he was going to buy, and I don't know why he was driving by the night before, but he noticed over the fence the seller was pulling their rose bushes out. So, and he doesn't say anything about it till the closing table. No, it's the walkthrough. And he said, they took out these rose bushes. And I was like, all right, we'll figure it out and everything. And we get to the closing table. And this was back in the day when you had a closing table and people were sitting in front of each other.
right?
And the seller denied it. And the seller was like, I didn't take any rose bushes. And it didn't fall apart, but we sat, it was like an all day closing. Like a closing was 10 o'clock. We were there at 6 o'clock. We were closing. We were talking about calling rose places to get rose quotes, and this guy, he walked out. He was like so mad that we accused him of taking roses, and he finally admitted that, like, all right, I took a bush, even though it was like 10 bushes, but like, I mean, that was like, it didn't actually fall apart, but it was like, I'm like, this is gonna fall apart over rose bushes, and it was just because they were both so mad about it,
right?
And he was like, you're accusing me, and my guy was like, I drove past your house, I saw you taking it out, and
I would have showed up with a box from Home Depot with a bunch of rose bushes.
But it wasn't even. It was just them arguing, and it was like we had to put them in separate rooms, and it was like kind of like it got like, and it was like me and the other agent kept trying to work it out and trying to figure it out and stuff, and it wasn't like the cost of the roses or anything. It was just like
the point.
He was like, the principle of it all, and luckily it did end up closing like 6 hours later, but. That was close.
I'm sure the attorneys were happy about that.
Yeah.
They loved it.
It was. Yeah, people took lunch. People came back later. It was a mess.
But like similar story where a deal actually died at that point, or no?
Not that late most of the time. I think you kind of see the signs as we're getting closer to closing. But my mindset's always like, look, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. In the meantime, I'm going to do everything in my power to make it work. And then at the end of the day, you can't get hung up on it, because I feel like if you get hung up on it and you kind of start kicking rocks, you feed off that and you continue that momentum. So I take it out of my mind and just proceed forward, and you figure it out. You always go forward, and you don't. Yeah. I think someone was saying this earlier. You don't get too high, and you don't get too low. You try to stay in the middle. And
like Dan said, we're almost like psychologists, where towards the end, as closer you get, like a lot of people get more and more stressed, and like we have to try and kind of set expectations, explain what's happening, why it's happening, talk them. A lot of people talk them down a little bit, so it doesn't get to a point where at the closing table someone walks off and doesn't close. So generally the agents can kind of keep it calm enough to, if it is a tough deal, to get to finally finish it off.